Today, big news. Luka Doncic and Cade Cunningham will be eligible for end-of-season awards after the league and the Players Association agreed they would be allowed to bypass the 65-game threshold. Luka played 64 games, missed 2 in December due to the birth of his child. Cunningham played 63, missed 12 after suffering a collapsed lung in mid-March. Interestingly and significantly, Anthony Edwards was not granted this special dispensation, if you will. So let's start, Vinny Goodwill and Iman Shumpert. Let's start with the explanation. How did the league arrive at this with Luka and Cade Cunningham and not with Anthony Edwards?
Well, you look at the difference in circumstances. Cade Cunningham's collapsed lung, there's been 5 instances of this in NBA history from their tracking. They viewed it not as an injury, but as of a circumstance. Plus, he came back early that showed the initiative to come back and play. Secondarily, Luka Doncic going overseas for the birth of a child.
Right.
Once again, circumstances. Anthony Edwards was in and out of games in the last week of the season. I think that's in part because he or his people did not let it be known to the league that they would be applying for this extraordinary condition situation. So he wound up missing like 3 of the last 4 games, and that took him out of it. I think that's a good thing, Greeny, because it shows that there is still some letter of the law that is going to be followed, that if every appeal went through, then everybody would say the rule had no teeth.
Right.
And the league did not contest Luka or Cade's thing. I think that's an important part.
Let's underline that. The NBA appealed on behalf of Luka and Cade, and the league did not contest it. They said, yes, we're good with it. We recognize the circumstances. See, this is where it is so rare in this day and age that we just do things that make sense, that maybe I shouldn't be so surprised that something happened that just makes sense, right? Like the 65-game rule is in place for a reason. It is designed to prevent all of the resting and all of the load management and the things that we've seen. Whether it's doing that or not, notwithstanding, that's its purpose. It is not designed to penalize a player who suffered a collapsed lung on the court or to keep a player from being with his wife or girlfriend when they're having a baby. So we just applied some actual common sense to the situation, and it worked out. I, for one, am delighted to see it. What do you think of it, Shump?
Yeah, I mean, I have mixed feelings about it.
Tell
I told you, like, I'm very much so, like, if you have a rule, you have to set it. Otherwise, like I said when I came in here,
right.
I want in on it too. Right. Maybe I should be eligible. You
right.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I get that mentality of it. I do also though love the fact that the NBA is staying consistent with they promote us as fathers, and you know Luka going out there and doing that for the birth of his child. That's something that the NBA always promotes. You know what I'm saying? Fatherhood. It's always a ongoing theme in the league. So
right.
I understand them respecting that. I understand them respecting Cade's injury, but again, I also understand the salty feelings of an Anthony Edwards, where it's like, you know, he got hurt on court. You know what I mean? Doing this stuff, and it's unfortunate, but it's like, this is what we doing for. You know what I mean? I understand the rules in for tanking and, you know, load management and all that, but this is integrity of the game, and this is also, you know, the safety of the players. This is all that, and you walk up to this line now and feel like, well, if that guy got across, you know.
I think the illness was the thing with Anthony Edwards that the league looked at, not the injury, but the illness that cost him a couple of games.
What was it, like the staph infection thing?
Yeah, no. I don't know if it was a staph infection. I think it was another circumstance.
He had a set of circumstances.
Yeah.
Let me read you from his agent. His agent released a statement. Justin Holland is Anthony Edwards' agent. He released a statement that said, for me personally, I'm a bit confused at the clemency for Cade, who missed time for something that happened on the court, and not Ant, who missed time for an infection. But ultimately, you already know Ant isn't tripping over it at all. He was mad he didn't get to 62, not because he missed out on awards. He was mad because it meant he didn't get to play in all 82, which is what he always tries to do for his teammates and fans. You know the only thing he wants is a ring. Candidly, that's a great statement.
That's an outstanding statement. It is, and I think it's important that the rule is put in place not to be punitive, but to incentivize. And if you wind up being punitive towards Cade and Luka, it takes away the spirit of the rule. They don't want it to be so that you can't have awards. Right. They want it to be there so that you can play in nationally televised games so fans can get their money's worth. Yeah. And so that's why you have appeals process. I have no problem with it.
Okay, so those decisions made yesterday. Now the big decisions start getting made tonight and tomorrow. Let's look at Saturday's slate of games for the first round of the NBA playoffs, that magnificent first day where all these games are in action. 1 Eastern, Raptors, Cavaliers. That's followed by the T-Wolves and Nuggets, a great series. Hawks and Knicks here at the Garden. And then the day will end with a huge matchup out west. The 5-seed Rockets, LeBron and the Lakers, 8:30 Eastern on ABC. So, Vince Goodwill, I gave you a homework assignment. I said, give me the 3 keys for the Knicks to advance out of this series with Atlanta.
Let's do it.
Show up. I mean,
Show up. That's not enough.
I know. I wasn't great at homework, Greeny. I was great showing up the day of the test.
Okay.
The 3 keys are, for one, Karl Anthony Towns.
Yep.
They have to feature him in this series because of the way that the Hawks play defensively. He's going to get a lot of open shots, a lot of trail threes. He averaged over 25 in the games against the Hawks this year. He's their big advantage. Jalen Johnson almost averaged a triple-double for Atlanta, 20, 10, and 10 against the Knicks. You have to keep him occupied. You cannot let him roam and do everything he wants to do defensively to cause havoc on Jalen Brunson, on OG Anunoby, on Mikal Bridges. You have to make sure that you are draining his energy. And finally, you cannot leave Jalen Brunson on an island in the fourth quarter. The game that they most recently played, Jalen Brunson had to have 14 in the fourth quarter, and he was the only person to have multiple field goals. That is going to be the Hawks' formula to leave him standing alone to where he has to dribble the air out the ball. That's how Atlanta has a chance. If he spreads the ball around, then the Knicks should win this series.
What's your message to the Knicks as they get set to play this series starting tomorrow?
My message is just to keep the consistency and accountability. But I also want to get to the Knicks that you guys were put together for a reason. All of this pressure and all the expectations and everything around you is because you're supposed to be good. And that's a good thing to have. It's not something to walk away from. So I just want to challenge the Knicks to take that on and not feel so much like there's so much pressure on us, but it's like, no, there should be pressure on us because they know we should be winning. So go out there and win.
Billie Jean King said pressure is a privilege, and it made that, but the pressure is real, right? What are the stakes, in your opinion, if the Knicks lose in this first round series?
If the Knicks lose, which I don't think necessarily will happen.
No,
but
neither do I, but if they did.
In talking to people across the league for the past 3 or 4 days, they believe that the Knicks will seriously take a look at removing Mike Brown as head coach because the stakes are so high, because this series should be a mismatch for them. I don't believe that Mike Brown will lose his job. I think that's the scuttle around how high the stakes are for the Knicks, not just this series, but potentially in the next round against the Celtics, the next round against either Detroit or Cleveland or whoever comes out of that. The stakes are high for everyone. Karl Towns, Mikal Bridges, the head coach, everyone involved with the New York Knicks.
If you're looking for good news for Atlanta, it's that everyone here is picking the Knicks. And as I always say, when everyone is picking something, it almost never happens. We'll have much more hoops as we go. Back to the NFL draft in just a moment. Are you looking for the steal of the draft? Which team might find the hidden franchise quarterback at a moment when no one else is watching? We'll answer that question, and look what else we have pulling into the station this morning. We are jam-packed. We got the Stanley Cup playoffs getting underway. We got the LaMelo Ball. He got a warning but not suspended. How about the Giants and the decisions they're going to make? Look at this. The